Boker Tov, good morning. Today is the 16th day of Shabbat, Taz Bishvat, and I left you telling you that we'll understand what's going on here. Yesterday we talked about this agreement between Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai, a 15-day difference, and we're not going to get too caught up in this anymore either, about what's exactly the seasonal description that we have, but we're told this is when the sap begins to run in the trees. Okay, that's interesting. So now let's go back to Rosh Hashanah le'ilanot. It is the new year for trees. What does that mean? And so here the Gemara explains what's at stake, as it were. Tanar Banan ilan shechantu peratav kodem chamisha b'Shabbat. A tree whose fruit are it's beginning to bear fruit. Before the 15th of Shvat, mitaser l'shana she'avra. It is tithed based on the previous period, right? It's considered the last season's fruit. And then after this date, mitaser l'shana haba'ah, it is tithed for the year ahead. Tithing is rules, and we in America, outside of Israel, aren't involved in too much tithing unless we have fruits that come from Israel, in which we have to make sure that they were tithed or do it ourselves. But you give tithing of the fruits, and the tithing is meant to be for the shared. You have a cluster or your whole harvest of fruits of that belong together in a harvest season or a harvest year. And harvest from the last year isn't tied with fruits from the harvest of this year, and vice versa. And this year doesn't mean Rosh Hashanah, meaning the first of Tishrei, like we had the Rosh Hashanah holiday then. Rosh Hashanah le'ilanot is now. So it's a very specific rule to the to how we tithe our fruits. How did it become what we perhaps are familiar with? This holiday of this Jewish Arbor Day. It's an interesting study in how outside of Israel there was an attempt to remain connected to Israel. Some of the practices they had go back a few hundred years where they would develop customs to eat the fruits of the trees, fruits of Israel at this time. Dried fruits, only because you couldn't have fresh fruits. There's no custom to eat dried fruits of Israel. It's just that if you don't have the fresh fruits, you eat the dried fruits. I personally am not a big fan of some of the dried fruits. But beyond that, though, it seems that it's something that seems to have developed in European life. Russia and then beyond, as people became more and more connected to Eretz Yisrael. I'll read you one thing here. Hold on. There was a sefer called Pri Eitz Hadar, which was a Kabbalistic book, where this became a Kabbalistic practice to start having a little seder with the fruits of Eretz Yisrael. And then it seems, as we said, the Jewish Arbor Day part of this seems to relate to the early pioneers from Russia, who were motivated to renew the ancient agricultural traditions associated with the tradition of eating the fruit of Tu B'Shvat. They remembered from their home. It became a strong practice that way as well, and related to modern Israel. Wishing you a happy Taz B'Shvat, 16th day of the month of Shvat.